How much is that?
It's only 25 bucks.
Ruben, you are the best.
Thank you, Spider-Man!
The Marvel Cinematic Universe has so many characters now that it is easy to confuse them if you are not an avid fan.
My life doesn't really make sense. I used to ask myself a lot of questions about that.
This happens in a scene in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, where one of the extras playing a character named Ruben accidentally calls Scott Lang Spider-Man instead of Ant-Man at a coffee shop. This was a genuine mistake from the actor, despite knowing which movie he was in. As you can see, Paul Rudd pausing upon hearing this was a natural reaction. However, it added to the goofy nature of the movie, so it got included in the final cut.
You are the bug! I was wrong!
You're right. That's me. Just a coffee, please.
$12.
12.
Give me that guitar. Music time's over.
In movies, the script sometimes requires the characters to be violent, and one of the best ways to show violence on the big screen is to break stuff. Kurt Russell's character, John Hangman Ruth, from Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight, also had to put on such a display. As per the script, he needed to break the guitar belonging to Jennifer Jason Leigh's character, Daisy. However, instead of the prop piece that was made specifically for that, Kurt Russell accidentally destroyed an actual guitar that was an antique piece, estimated to be around 145 years old. If pay close attention, you can also see Jason Leigh looking off screen as Kurt Russell smashes the guitar to pieces. She was clearly looking at the director and crew, trying to figure out what was going on. But since this was so natural and still got the job done, Tarantino included it in his final cut.
Hello, Lori.
Kelso.
That 70s show has had some hilarious moments throughout its successful run, and there were a lot of times where these moments were unscripted or bloopers that eventually found their way to the final cut. One such scene is when Ashton Kutcher's character, Michael Kelso, jumps right over the couch so that he can talk to Eric's sister Lori. In the middle of this excitement, Kutcher accidentally hits the table with his legs, but doesn't let it affect him as he gets back up almost instantly. This was not in the script at all, and you can even see from Lori's reaction that she found it a bit hilarious. However, since Kutcher let the scene flow so smoothly, it felt like it was just something that his character would normally do. That's why this blooper also made it to the final cut.
I gotta get a gift for Jackie, who I'm breaking up with.
People usually have places to keep their coats and extra layers of clothing, but what about gods who carry ancient weapons with them all the time? Even though the second Thor movie, The Dark World, isn't exactly considered to be one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's masterpieces, it still gave us a rather funny moment that had actually started out as a joke between the cast and crew members. When Chris Hemsworth's Thor enters an apartment, he needs to hang his hammer somewhere, and he eventually does so on a coat rack.
You can't just leave like that. The whole world is going crazy. All the stuff we saw is spreading.
The joke was that the coat rack was now worthy of wielding his hammer Mjolnir. Of course, Chris Hemsworth was just messing around for fun, but the director happened to like it so much that he was able to keep it in the movie. Since the scene went so naturally, nobody even suspected that this was a blooper.
I better get my pants.
Accidents clearly happen all the time.
Whoa! Save me, MJ!
Even in movies that are supposed to be as serious as Ridley Scott's The Martian. The film features a short cameo by musician and actor Donald Glover, who is better known by his stage name, Childish Gambino. At one point in the movie, his character named Rich has to get out of his chair so that he can get some more coffee, which is quite normal for any working individual. However, his movement was so sudden that he ended up falling onto the ground by accident. Luckily, nothing serious happened, but it was still an unscripted moment. Usually, mistakes like these get cut from the movie, but Scott seemed to like it way too much, so he ensured the rest of the world would also get to see this blooper.
You do understand I'm your boss, right?
I would have caught that. How much is that?
It's only 25 bucks.
Okay.
The Office is known for its spontaneity, with most of the scripts being written as the shoots were going on, so it comes as no surprise that it also includes a lot of unscripted moments. The relationship between John Krasinski's Jim and Rainn Wilson's Dwight was one of the highlights of the show, mainly because of all the pranks Jim used to play on Dwight. Over here, Jim pops a fitness ball that Dwight has been using as a chair in order to help build his abs. As per the script, the ball was supposed to deflate slowly so that it could be an extended sequence. However, Jim had actually popped the seam of the ball, which caused it to pop instantly. instantly. Dwight went down instantly, which made some of the crew members crack up, and it worked so well that it ended up gaining the final cut privilege.
I'm conducting this interview. No, that's not what you said when I came in here. You said that I was conducting the interview. Now, exactly how much pot did you smoke?
All right, let's get it up.
Seinfeld has made Jerry Seinfeld a really wealthy man, and a lot of that has to do with the humor of the show. During one such episode of Seinfeld, our 4 protagonists somehow get lost inside a parking garage in Jersey while trying to find their car. That's kind of hard to believe, considering these are 4 adults, but such has been the premise of the show. It takes quite a while for them to all reunite at the car.
The car! The car!
But once they manage to get inside, Kramer has trouble turning the engine on. One would think that this was in the original script, but no, the car was supposed to start without any hassles, so you can see why this was amusing to the shooting crew. The cast definitely found it funny, and since it came out better than what was in the script, we all got to see it as well.
Unbelievable.
You knew you had your ending right there. It was perfect, and we all felt like the show was blessed.
I want my freedom! Why won't you hear me? Sophie, help me! Help me!
Sophie, sit!
I'm gonna say this for the last time. Would you please just...
Here's another sitcom that has maintained legendary status, even though the newer audience isn't too fond of it. Friends already has that one blooper where Ross and Phoebe make Jennifer Aniston break character.
Sing along!
But it looks like she can get easily distracted at any point of time. In an episode where Rachel hilariously tries to get Chandler out of some cuffs and a rather odd relationship with her boss,
But she's very private about her office. Now I know why.
she ends up cuffing him to a cabinet.
What if I clean your bathroom for a month?
Still wouldn't be clean.
During their argument, Chandler hits his head against a drawer of the cabinet while moving his hand. This was not in the script, as could be seen from Rachel's reaction to this, but Matthew Perry just went with it, and his reaction was priceless, which led the shot to land in the final cut of the episode.
Monica and Phoebe know?
How do Monica and Phoebe know?
What? When they ask me what I saw, and be very generous,
Go on.
I can make you a legend. I can make you this generation's Milton Berle.
Hey.
Hello, Chandler.
I love you.
No, he doesn't.
2 hours that lasted.
Take over. Neither him.
Imagine a blooper so good that the director not only includes it in the final cut, but he also enhances it so that the people watching the scene will most definitely notice this. The Stormtroopers are probably the most expendable characters in the Star Wars franchise, but one of them decided to etch his name in the history books when he accidentally hit his head against the top of a doorframe. This is in the scene where the troopers are busy looking for Luke Skywalker and his team. George Lucas liked this so much that he actually went on to magnify the sound of the boink in the final cut, so that people could have a nice little laugh at it. With so many extras claiming that they were in the trooper outfit that made this mistake, it's safe to say that everyone wanted it to happen. Like, share, and subscribe if you liked this clip, and let me know what you'd like to see next. Okay then, see you soon!